Hey, yo, everyone, Andrew here, bringing you another video review, and today we're going to be doing my comic load for the week, which is sadly only 3 comics. Yeah, it's the end of May going into June, and, well, because it's the end of May, we don't have a full week. I think they're holding off comics to next week, but I'm not sure. So, whatever. So we have 3 comics to go over this week, and just because this is such a short week, I also count this video as my Andrew kind of picks of the week's news updates, blah blah blah. Because I don't really have too much to say on that front, although I do have some stuff. So might as well go over the comics for this week. Starting things off, and you already saw it, would be Batman Annual #1. So this is kind of a tie-in to the Night of the Owls, kind of. And this is basically Scott Snyder reintroducing Mr. Freeze into the New 52. It's still the good old-fashioned Mr. Freeze that we all know and love. He's obsessed with getting his wife and bringing her back to life and curing her disease, yada yada yada. Can't believe I just said yada 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 because I hate yada yada yada, but you get the whole point. However, there's a certain few twists and turns made on Mr. Freeze's character, particularly a big twist with his wife, and a bit of a twist and turn with his mother, too. I'm not going to reveal what they are because, well, that would be douchery of me. But yeah, so there are twists and turns here. But the basic story is just him going back to get his wife and having to deal with Batman, Nightwing, and Robin in the process. We also get to see a connection between Mr. Freeze and the Court of Owls because he's the one that gave them the serum to bring their talons back to life. So let's get into the good, the bad, and whether or not you should get it. Good. What I do like is I like the reintroduction of Mr. Freeze here, character-wise. He feels like Mr. Freeze. He feels like the Mr. Freeze that we got from the animated series, that we got from the 90s onwards in the comics. It feels like the cold-hearted Mr. Freeze. The thing that I like is it feels like Mr. Freeze, but there's changes to him. I'm not talking aesthetically, I'm talking character-wise, particularly stuff with his wife. The changes to him feel comfortable, but probably because it feels like Mr. Freeze. So I do like that. The artwork was good. The fight scene between Mr. Freeze, Batman, Robin, and Nightwing was fun, and I think it had a very good pacing to it. Bad. Aesthetically, I don't care how Mr. Freeze looks. I like Mr. Freeze to look like the big kind of Bioshock, Big Brother kind of suit where it's all rubber and there's, metal on him and the big globe for a head. Like we saw in the animated series or we saw in Arkham City. I like that big monstrous kind of look, which almost kind of looks like 50-ish too, when you think of 50 sci-fi too. I like that look. With this, Mr. Freeze has, the globe, but he has like a suit with short sleeves. It seems a little off. His powers seem to be a little bit more metahuman than it is, him just being screwed up and he needs to use his gun. He's able to do a few things that he normally wouldn't have done, which doesn't bother me. Just aesthetically, I don't really care for how he looks. The mohawk isn't even really what bothers me. It's just more or less the suit. Of course, that's something that can easily be changed. It's not like he has tattoos all over his face. It's just a suit. So Mr. Freeze can have a million suits. Second is the tie-in to the Court of the Owls really wasn't anything surprising because we already got it from Red Hood and the Outlaws. If you read Red Hood and the Outlaws, red, if you read Red Hood and the Outlaws, you already known this information. It's nothing new. You would have known that he had connection with the Owls, and you would have known that he would have gave them the serum. So again, nothing really new on that part. Whether or not you should get it, I give this a 4 out of 5. It was a good reintroduction of Mr. Freeze. Kind of a safe one, but not too safe that you kind of get bored with it. Again, there were twists and turns here and there, and it was good. It wasn't the best annual that I've ever read, but it was good. So 4 out of 5. Talking about the other annual that came out this week would be Animal Man Annual Issue #1. So they say Annual Man, Animal Man. I said Annual Man. Yes, Annual Man. Here coming only once a year. No, Animal Man, guest starring Swamp Thing. don't let that confuse you, because Swamp Thing actually really doesn't show up in here, at least not the Swamp Thing that we know. The majority of this issue is a flashback story to a previous champion of the Red working with a previous Swamp Thing back in like 1890 or something. And that's basically the story. Is to kind of set the foundation and backstory and kind of flush out the red, the green, and the rod a bit. But that's about all that it is just a little backstory. Um, Good, bad, whether or not you should get it. Despite the fact that it is just kind of a random miscellaneous story, it was a fun miscellaneous story. It had a sense of horror and dread to it. It was kind of sad, too. In addition to that, I thought the art was pretty good. I don't know if it's the same artist we've been getting or not, but I enjoyed the art. I think it really set the tone. And again, like the Batman one, it was very well paced. I didn't feel as though there was any stops and goes in the reading. It would just flew pretty nicely. Bad is it really doesn't add anything to Animal Man or Swamp Thing at all. It's not really a team up between the two. So that was kind of boring. And yeah, that's probably the only thing, but it's enough to make me give this just a 4 out of 5 also. So yeah, Animal Man. Annual number 1, Animal Man. Annual Man. Animal Man. Annual Man. Anyways, 4 out of 5 was an okay read. I would probably, I don't know, I probably enjoy Batman a little bit more, but they're both good. And last is Ravagers, issue number 1. This is the last of the second wave, to my recollection. Yeah, this is the last of the second wave to come out. I had to kind of reach deep down inside of my brain and pull it out. And this is stemming out of Teen Titans. Basically, the concept of this is Caitlin Fairchild with, let me see if I can remember the names: Lightning, Thunder, Ridge, Terra is in it, and Beast Boy, who comes in different colors and different flavors now. He no longer is tropical green, but he's now strawberry red. Why is Beast Boy a different color? Don't know. But whatever. Basically, this picks up exactly where issue number 9 of Teen Titans left off, which was the Ravagers, or, well, we'll call them Ravagers. They're not Ravagers, but we'll call them that. Fairchild got these kids out, and basically they're on their own. They're in Alaska, I believe, and they need to escape because not only do they have no food, no, clothing for warmth, no survival stuff. They also have to be on the run from the real Ravagers, which is Rose Wilson and the smiley face guy. I forget his name. The one with the Freddy Krueger claws. You don't know who I'm talking about. Anyways, they're on the run. A couple of the Ravagers leave. A couple of them come back. A couple of them leave again. A couple of them die. So we're really kind of sorting out the team, and it leaves off on a cliffhanger. Uh, so onto the good, the bad, and whether or not you should get it. Good. You know what I like about the Ravagers is it's another team up comic that is a teen Teen. I was trying to make sure I didn't put 3 E's in there. A teen comic, a kid, a Young Justice comic that is, completely different from Teen Titans. Where Teen Titans is very much a traditional underwear on the outside, cape, fight for truth and justice kind of comic, although it's a little edgier now. It's still traditionally a superhero comic. This feels more like, if I could equate it to anything, it kind of feels more like an X-Men book in a way for teenagers. I don't know which X-Men book. It could be X-Men, it could be X-Force, it could be X-Factor. I don't read X-Men enough to really know. I came close to picking some X-Men books up 2 days ago, but I didn't. So it feels kind of like an X-Men book where they're on the run, they're not understood, they're different, and they're kind of on their own, and they're a little bit edgier. They're willing to go and do what needs to be done when it needs to be done. I like the structure of the team. I think everyone has a good balance of powers, and I think Caitlin Fairchild was a good choice for the. I don't know if leader is the right word, but mentor, maybe. Hmm? What do you think? So yeah, I think the team balances out really nice, and I think it's a good concept. The art was really nice. We got Ian Churchill, who also did Supergirl back in the day, and he really had some good art. I mean, you could just see the art right in the front here, so everyone looks good. I like the aesthetic look of the team. I like the Ravager costume that they have, the Tron costumes, but it looks good. Um, like I said, the good balance of power. The art's good. I said that, and then the dialogue is good too. It was also, as of the previous two comics I read, well paced. A good first issue. It did everything a first issue needed to do. It set the standards for what the comic's going to be. It set the atmosphere of the team. It set up the characters of the team, and it sets up the powers of the team. Everyone kind of gets their own moments in the sunshine here, and never anyone more than anyone else. I would have to say there's just as much lightning in here as maybe Fairchild or Ridge as Terra. Actually, to be fair, Terra and Beast Boy, not so much, but the rest of them is all fairly well balanced. You get to learn the team quickly, and the names are pretty easy. I mean, Terra and Beast Boy, you're already going to know, and to a degree, most people are going to know Caitlin Fairchild from Gen 13. Am I correct on that? Ridge, as far as I know, is a new character along with Lightning and Thunder, but I mean, the names are easy to learn. Their personalities are quite different, so they're easy to pick up on. So it does a really good job at what a first issue should do. I was impressed. Bad. The ending leaves off on a cliffhanger, and based on what happened earlier on in the comic, you kind of know how the cliffhanger is going to get resolved in issue number 2. So that was a bit annoying. That and like I said, Terra and Beast Boy kind of go and do their own thing, and I think it would have been better if they stayed with the team. They're gonna come back to the team, obviously, but for this issue, they kind of went off and did their own thing, which did bother me because, unlike a lot of people, my main draw to this is Terra and Beast Boy because they're the most recognizable characters to me. Both former Titans, obviously in the new universe, they're not Titans, so I kind of I'm very drawn to them. And I'm particularly interested in Terra because this gives her a chance to shine without being a dick and being an evil individual, which she kind of was. So, on a whole, whether or not you should get it, guess what? It also gets a 4 out of 5. It does what a first issue needs to do, and it's an interesting story and an interesting cast. Does it do enough for me to want to pick up issue number 2? I would say I would probably go pick up issue number 2. Does it do enough for me to want to go and continue the series? We'll see how issue number 2 does, but I don't know. We'll see. Do I recommend it? Yeah, definitely. Out of the second wave, I have to say this was actually one more impressive. I had to say from the second wave, the best is Earth 2. That I would say Ravagers, and then probably GI Combat and Dial H for Hero, then Batman Inc., then World's Finest. They were all good, but Ravengers actually did a very good job and it impressed me. I was impressed. So I would recommend picking it up, especially if you want a team up comic with the Young Justice kind of cast with teenagers, but not have it be traditional superhero, have it be a little bit more edgy. And again, I don't know if this is fair to do a comparison, but like I said, it's kind of X-Men for DC. So yeah, Ravengers. I'm interested in it. Which one did I enjoy the most this week? Oddly enough, Ravagers. Batman Annual was really good. Animal Man Annual was really good. Annual Man shows up once a year was really good, but Ravagers was actually surprisingly, I thought, the most enjoyable. So pick it up, enjoy it. So, like I said, I'm just gonna make this a Andrew kind of pick of the week and news updates also because I mean, I only have 3 comics here, and I have enough time, so might as well talk about it. First and foremost, some good news. My fiance has gotten a post-graduation job, so I'm happy about that. While I am still looking, I did some applications earlier on today, and I'm going to be working with my dad sometime this week to iron out some stuff. She got a post-graduation job, so that was good. Kudos to her. Uh, I'm just trying to think and kind of put my mind together. Uh, as you saw in my previous video, I did a figure review. A lot of people have been asking about when I was going to do figure reviews again, if I was going to. And the reason why I didn't do figure reviews for a while is because I didn't buy figures. And the reason why I didn't buy figures, and this is going to sound like a silly reason, so bear with me. You're going to bear with me? Bear with me. Grizzly bear with me. Or polar bear with me, but bear with me. It's kind of a silly reason, but because of the new 52 and the radical costume designs, I've had no desire to pick up any figures with the old school costumes. Sounds a little weird. I know it's a little weird, but really that's kind of the thing. So that's the reason why I haven't really been picking up figures. But now that the new 52 figures are coming out, I'm going to be picking up that. I'm going to pick up all of them, and then who knows? Maybe someone suggested, "Hey Andrew, why don't you do a video with all of them and compare them all?" I could. Why not? So as you can see back there, since my video, I put up all my Batman figures here. They're all Batman. We have on the shelf above the video games. Maybe I should just bring the camera over there. Why not? Everyone asks to see my collection, so it's still kind of in the works. So anyways, we have up here, and can you see that? Let's put the light on. Is that better? Probably not. But I might as well show it anyways. On this row, I have Batman by artists. So we have people like Alex Ross, Ed Benz, Jim Lee, George Perez, Ed McGuinness, Bob Kane, Tim Sal. On the second row are my DC Universe classic DC superheroes. Can you see that? Yeah, I guess. So we have all those figures that come out from there, plus Azrael. At the very top are DC Direct and various miscellaneous ones, and mostly the Green Lantern inspired ones. And then over here, we have my Robins, my Nightwings, my Catwomans, my Jason Todds, and basically the Batman family, minus Huntress and Commissioner Gordon, because Commissioner Gordon figure is missing his glasses, and that kind of pisses me off. And yeah, so we have all the Robins down here. We have Nightwing over there too. Have Azrael, Batgirl, Catwoman's, Jason Todd section right there, although technically he should be in the Jason Todd section. So we got that going on. And then we have all my comics that got signed. Oh, and this is where I stick all my comic books. Right. Aw. So, well, and there's another box down there. Kind of random. Oh, and might as well come over here. I got some Star Wars figures hooked up on here. So, got that right there. And then the Rock collection along with Power Rangers. So, a little tour of the room. The next figure I do plan on picking up is there's two figures in particular that I want. Actually, a few. I have to think. I want to get the Flashpoint Batman, Flashpoint Cyborg, because that looks badass. The Batman Inc. Robin, because it's Damian Wayne and I would like a Damian Wayne, and the excuse me, I just ate lunch. So I'm going to be making some bodily noises that I shouldn't. And the Batman Inc. Batman, because it's pretty much the new 52 costume, only slightly different, with a cup protector and the traditional bat symbol. One thing I did fail to mention in my review of the new 52 Batman is that there are DC Universe Classic figures of the new 52 costumes coming out. So you can go to like Toy News International and look them up there. So far, I think it's Flash, Batman, and Superman that have been revealed. They look good, but I don't think they look quite as good as the DC Direct Collectibles, whatever we're calling it now, version of the figures, but they still look good, so I'm probably going to pick those up too. Okay, so that's all I have about figures. Video games, I am now doing, trying to finish off my Trauma Center games. I'm at the end of Trauma Center and Second Opinion. Then, yeah, Second Opinion. Then I'll do New Blood. I finished off Sapphire version fairly quickly, fully EV trained, level 100 Pokemon. Kind of a silly team, though. It just kind of happened. Like I'm running around, I see Grumpig with a nice nature on it. I'm like, sure, I'll do it and EV train it. Or I'll be running around and I see, like, my Sapphire version team is incredibly weak. I do it for aesthetic look only. So yeah, I have a newfound respect for Grovyle. No, Sceptile, but still not a great starter. But I still have a newfound respect. So after that, I'm going to finish off Pearl, and then I'll be completely everything EV train done. I have only one badge left to get in Pearl. I am pumped for Black and White. I think I already told you guys that. And oh, video game news. Mr. Deadpool fan, who I've been talking on Skype, and he's also sent me a few emails too, is showed me that Dead Space 3 is going to be coming out. So that should be interesting. Isaac Clarke is not going to be in the game. which I'm okay with because, hey, his story is ended. Let's move on to someone else. But it should be interesting. It should be fun. I'm going to do another question and answer segment. So you can either post your questions here, or I'm going to post up a video after this, and then you can post your questions there. I'm going to give you guys a time frame because I don't want people to be left out if they had a question and I didn't answer it. Sorry, it happened last time. So yeah, we're going to do that. Another question and answer segment because a lot of questions were asked that weren't necessarily answered, and I feel ashamed. Anything else? No, like I said, there wasn't too much to talk about today. I'm gonna go call up my headhunter, see what happens. Got my phone. Gonna do that right after I click the stop, call her up, and then after that, I'm just gonna go from there. Maybe do a little bit more job searching and then hang out with my buddy. So I'm gonna end this video here. This is Andrew saying peace out for now.